Well, good afternoon, Practical Finances friends and family. This is Curtis, host again of Practical Finances. Thank you so much for watching. Now, this is the beginning. I'm very excited because this is the beginning of the fall season. We just completed the summer season a couple of weeks ago, so we're starting a brand new season. And as I said at the end of the summer session, we're going to change things up a little bit. We're going to, instead of having a classroom setting with PowerPoint presentations, we're going to have a series of interviews with professionals, people that I know and that I respect, who represent different financial areas such as small business, investments, real estate, insurance. But this week, my first guest is my bud, Lamont Bunch. Lamont Bunch is a business banker with First Citizens. In fact, he's an excellent business banker with First Citizens. He and I have been buddies for a long time, but I want to tell you something. Lamont is probably one of the smartest, probably one of the most creative, probably one of the most insightful people that I know. So I'm super excited for him to talk about small business banking with the audience. So I'm really, really excited to have him here. And as a matter of fact, let me introduce him. Lamont, how are you, sir?
Yes, sir. Hey, doing fine. That was an amazing introduction that I don't have that kind of money to pay you for saying that, but I'll donate to your favorite charity or something a little bit later with in-kind work, because that was huge. But just glad to be here.
Man, I really appreciate you coming and taking some time to do this, man. I really did.
Oh, most definitely. I think you and I talk a lot of times about sharing a lot of the things that we know with the community, and just being a resource for people who may have questions about small business and lending and banking, and how they all come together, and helping people reach their financial goals. So I'm glad to be here and offer any type of insight that I may be able to provide. So thank you.
Excellent, man. Thank you for that. And let me just basically talk about what our title is. I mean, what we're going to be focusing on, what our subject matter is. Basically, how to use your bank to run your business more efficiently. So that's what we're talking about, how to incorporate your banking. That's where Lamont comes in. So let's just get going here. Let's just get started. First of all, man, just a background about you, man. Who are you? I know you're a hero to millions. I know that.
You stole my thunder. I have, as you said, I am a hero to millions, but I've been in banking for over 30 years. I started right out of high school. I attended Hume-Fogg-Magnet High School, and I had an inroads internship with a bank at the time called First American Bank, which is now Regions. And each summer I was able to intern in a different department. It ranged from being a teller to filing to being in credit analysis to working in the brokerage department with some of the wealth advisors. Just an array of different departments that I got to work in over a 4-summer period. After I graduated from Middle Tennessee State, I went full-time with First American, and I was with them for a total of about 14 to 15 years. From there, I went on to be a medical private banker with another institution. I helped a bank open in-store banks throughout Nashville and the Kroger's and Publix stores. Managed a few offices, and finally I settled in as being a business banker, working full-time with doctors, dentists, attorneys, engineers, just anything that had to do with business, small business. I was there to help the business owners either get set up or answer questions about loans or any type of treasury management or credit card processing type scenarios that we would become involved with. So
Well, it
that's
sounds like um, your entire career, all the experiences that you had, actually built on each other to a
they
point.
did.
Yeah. Would you agree with that?
Most definitely it was, and it was very deliberate. It was never a lateral move. I only moved when there was an opportunity to gain additional knowledge in the world of business lending and any type of business products. And if there was a chance for me to grow by becoming a part of whatever that scenario happened to be at the time, then I was quick to jump on it, just so I could learn as much as I could at that time. And so I worked with, again, lending, treasury management, where I was going into a business client's office and helping them to, the way I looked at it, is go green or more automated.
Mhm.
Uh, it's really important to get away from just writing checks. There's a lot of issues that go along with that nowadays in regards to fraud. Whereas when you're automated, there's more of an electric trail. You can see it in real time, and you can also see the money coming in and going out at real time, more so than waiting on a check to process. So
Yeah.
I was
And
really big on doing that. So that was one of my major, and is one of my major strengths, even to this day.
excellent, excellent. So I was going to ask you, basically, um, when you are looking to us, I guess when you meet a new client and you're looking to
Right.
establish that relationship, uh, kind of run me through a scenario. You're meeting someone for the first time. You're trying to ascertain what their needs are, so you can point them in a particular direction. Kind of run me through that kind of scenario.
Sure. Normally, when I meet with a client, I've, pulled my thoughts together and notes together. I'm trying to make it be the most informative uh, conversation that I can have, and one where the business owner is definitely not will not feel that they've wasted their time. I mean, when I have a consultative sales conversation, I'm digging deep. I'm getting them to lead the conversation. Uh, because it's like a parent talking about their child. They're going to, one, perk up, and then two, they're going to just give you this great story behind how they got started, talking about the challenges and the rewards and where they'd like to go in the future. So I'll let them start talking. I usually ask if it's okay to take notes. And then from that conversation, and my notes, I'm usually able to repeat back to them what I thought I heard and get confirmation that I heard everything correct. And if that leads to something like, let's say, a loan request for maybe a business line of credit, or maybe an auto or equipment purchase, then I'll go into what is required for me to make a lending decision, based on the conversation that we had. And that usually involves, after that conversation and the business owner has quantified what I've said, I'll ask for a bit, I'll email them a business application, a personal financial statement as well to fill out. I'll usually ask for some type of profit and loss statement and balance sheet, which gives me a screenshot of what the business is currently looking like on a financial level. And then I may ask for anything from 2 to 3 years worth of tax returns, again, to get an idea of how the business has been performing,
Sure.
and give me a financial snapshot of just how they did in the previous years.
Okay. Do you, in addition to looking at their, I guess their financial history, or specifically, where you can look at different loan products, do you look at banking products also, for instance?
Well, one of the things that I like to do is I will, on top of, if they're doing a loan, ask for the financials. I'll usually ask for their banking statements. I usually like to get the last 3 years banking statements, 3 months banking statements. And
Mhm.
then I'll also maybe ask for the last 3 months merchant statements if they take credit cards.
Yeah.
And then from there, I'm able to put together an apples to apples proposal of kind of what I see going in and out of the account.
Mhm.
Um, and try to show them ways that I can save them money if there are particular items that are being reflected. Like with a checking statement, you may see that they're using something like remote image deposit on a monthly basis, meaning they're scanning checks in at their office and not going into the bank, or
Mhm.
that there are electronic debits coming out due to ACH credits. And so just looking at all of the transactions that are going in and out of the account, I'm able to put together a proposal where I can show them where I can save them money, or it leads to more conversations as to why those items are occurring. And it
Mhm.
helps to build a full consultative conversation that will help them in making a final decision on which direction we need to go with the request. And if we, again, have found some other additional items that maybe need to be addressed that will help the business owner save money.
Wow, fantastic, fantastic. Very sounds very thorough. I mean, so you, like you said, you do a deep dive, and
Right.
but as you said too, you allow them to talk. You got you ask those open-ended questions as we
Yeah,
know.
definitely. That's the only way to keep the conversation going. No closed in. You don't ask questions that are only lead to a yes or no answer. I want full details. So I'm going to ask you things about how, I'll do the who, what, when, where, how, and why, which always leads to good conversations and thinking. And we come together with certain scenarios from this happening that lead to one, the questions being answered, but also the client finds ways to save time and money once I presented what type of a product to address the issue that he or she may have.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. I don't know of many business owners out there that, but let me say it this way: I don't think that there are many bankers out there who may be as thorough as you are when it comes to asking those questions. I'm sure there's some out there, but um, it sounds like the way that you engage them,
Right.
I assume you earn their trust.
Right. Well, it's all about building good rapport. One of the beautiful parts of living in the South is if I'm out with team members or I'm out by myself and I'm making calls, the majority of the calls that I go on, people welcome you in. Um, if you come in and you're very sincere, which I am, you'll end up talking about family and everybody wants to know where everybody's from and what they like, and are you married? Do you have kids? And so just the beautiful part of being or doing business in Nashville is you always can find that you'll talk about stuff more than just the initial business. It's finding out about the family and if there were any issues or concerns there, and again building that rapport that's outside of business so that you could earn the business. At that point they know a little bit about you, you know a little bit about them, and it just helps have a smooth transition into going over the things that are needed to get a loan going, or to purchase equipment or set up any type of merchant services or treasury services.
Yeah. Sure, basically breaking down those barriers, so
Right.
that they're more comfortable with you, and
Hmm.
kind of getting on their level. Basically, is what you're doing.
Right. Most definitely.
Good stuff. Well, let's talk a little bit about. I don't want to get too technical, but let's talk a little about. You've mentioned some of the products that
Hmm.
you offer the customer.
Sure.
Uh, but kind of give me a list of some products out there that could potentially help the business owner just be more efficient. Um,
Right.
yeah.
And Most definitely. You know, we're in a COVID environment right now. And so the last thing a lot of us want to do is go into a lot of different locations where there may be a lot of people that we don't know, and that may be, it can cause a stressful situation with the way this COVID is working, and the virus, and not understanding everything about it. You know, a lot of people want to feel safe when they're moving about. And going into a bank a lot of times with so many different people coming in and out with deposits and questions, and, you know, everything that goes along with coming into a branch, you may not want to do that. And I know if I'm a business owner, I don't want to put myself or my employees in danger of catching a virus where there is no current cure.
Yeah.
So the least, or I would say the one thing that I would be thinking about is how to reduce myself and my employees being in public, or having to go in public, or going to a bank right now where there may be a lot of people.
Sure.
And so if I'm talking to my banker, I'm asking, how can we avoid that? And you know, one of the ways we can do that is by automating the office a little bit more, setting up with products that keep me from having to go into a bank. And so when I start having those conversations, one of the first things I talk about or ask is, how do they get paid? It's usually cash, check, or something electronic. So for the last two, of course, you're not having I have ways to keep you from having to go into a bank. If you're receiving a lot of checks, I will set a client up with a product called remote image deposit. And that is a scanner that's placed in the branch that's connected to the checking account. And so each day, as long as the client scans in any checks that he or she has received during the day, by 8 p.m., those funds are available the very next day in the client's banking account. If the client is not wanting to go visit a vendor to deliver a check, or would like for the payments to a vendor, or, you know, some type of purchase, and make that purchase as soon as possible, I can set them up with an ACH, which is automated clearinghouse product, which is ACH credit or debit, where they can send the payment electronically, and they immediately get a receipt that it's been sent. And the client usually gets that payment within a day's time, if not sooner.
Around town about a day.
Right. I mean, that's fair, but it's probably it's sooner than that. It's within a few hours.
Okay.
As well as I can set them up to do wires, domestic wires or international wires from their office as well. Setting them up electronically, getting them a password, and they never have to come into the bank. Again, that saves or it keeps down the risk of catching something during this type of environment, but it also protects the client, protects the client's employees or the owner himself from going into a bank and somebody mistaking him for having a bag of money of some type. Everything's being conducted from the office, and then it's tracked electronically. So I try to get it that way, and I try to get offices to go green a lot with doing that. By not having checks, you don't run the risk of a disgruntled employee maybe taking one of those checks and having a live routing number and a live account number, and then they go to Staples or one of the office depot type places and getting paper where they can create their own checks and put a different business name on those checks, but using the routing number and the account number of a previous employer.
Okay. So there's a fraud protection element to digital or electronic, what ACH is, for instance.
Very much so.
Okay.
Very much so.
Just back up. Let's back up just for a second on the remote deposit. Let me ask you about that one. So literally, instead of the business owner or going into the branch, they can literally sit at their office with I assume a scanner and just
Right.
scan the checks in and get credit pretty much the same day. Is that what I heard from you?
Well, as long as they scan checks in the scenario I was talking about, and then most of the scenarios, as long as they scan the checks in by 8 p.m. Central Time, the
Okay.
funds will be available the next day.
Okay. Okay. Got you on that one. All right. So,
Most definitely. So they get them in, they don't have to go in a branch, and it just saves time and saves money. You don't want your employees risking their cars going out to deliver, a deposit for yourself, for you, when you could easily have it scanned in and not run into that issue. A lot of times a company will not pay for your car being damaged if something happens, even while you're at work. It's just par for the course if that should happen.
right. That makes complete sense. I really like that. I didn't think about that. The angle that just keeping your employees safe.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get more products or more programs introduced to the business owner that will allow them not to have to come into the bank. I mean, not
Right.
that bankers don't want to see their customers, but right now we
Right.
have to keep all of us safe because
Right.
they could bring something with them to the bank, so that keeps everybody safe.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Great. Yep.
Very
Great
good.
answer. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. How about online banking? I mean, is that something that that's offered also that could help a business owner become more efficient?
Very much so. I treat it as a non-negotiable. I always sell the features and benefits of this free product,
Mhm.
which is you'll be able to see the balances of your accounts and loans every morning when you wake up. You can sign in. It'll be available. You can set alerts that will let you know if your account drops below a certain dollar amount that you deem important to be made aware of. I'm sure everybody wants to know especially if you're a business owner, if your account drops below 1,000 or 500 or $100, you'd like to receive a message as soon as possible, so you can either transfer money or make a deposit to help cover any type of checks or any type of electronic debits that happen to be coming out. That can save you whatever the cost is of overdraft fees, which range anywhere from $35 on up per item,
Very expensive.
um, for again using a product that's totally free.
Okay. Outstanding. Outstanding. All right.
And you
Appreciate
can set your phone and that's the beautiful part. You can receive a text that
it.
just says, "Hey, your account's below this certain dollar amount."
Okay. So there's integration between your phone and also your computer or laptop or tablet or
Right.
internet banking. Okay. Okay. So you can access it from
Most
any.
definitely.
Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. Got a question for you. Let's kind of shift gears a little bit here. You
Okay.
touched on a little bit here, but let's talk about the lending piece here.
All
Um,
right.
how can how can a loan product fit into the financial picture of a business, if that makes sense?
Well, oh, most definitely. The a lot of times, and I know you have all different types of business owners. Some like to look at getting loans. Some like to pay for everything in cash.
Mhm.
Well, by getting a loan, and in my opinion, this is a great way to go. You don't have to dip into your cash reserves.
Mm,
That's more for an emergency situation, um, and especially if you're a business owner starting out.
mhm.
If you can get a loan for a piece of equipment or for a vehicle, then I would much rather do that and let the vehicle and the equipment go to work for me and help bring in revenue, which will help me pay off the loan. And then you still get to keep your reserves to the side in case of some other type of unexpected emergency.
Ah,
There may be something with the building that you're in, or maybe one of the vehicles goes down, or there may be a shutdown of some type, or it could be anything. But it's important that you don't drain your cash reserves um, when you're thinking about the natural flow of monies during the day-to-day processes for your business.
Okay. Okay.
you know
So it's one of those situations where if you can try to use someone else's money.
Most definitely, and that's why you have banks. And we're there for those type of situations. And of course, we make money off of that, um, by charging interest. But this is something where you are buying something with the hopes that it helps to improve your overall cash flow, with, again, purchasing a piece of equipment that may increase your revenue by 100,000 a year,
Yeah.
or purchasing a vehicle that basically can still do the same thing by getting your employees to a site,
Right.
or helping you to deliver your product to them.
Mhm.
These are items that a lot of times you don't want to pay for with cash.
Right.
You take that monthly payment, and it's being paid by the revenue that's generated by purchasing those items.
There you go. There you go. That's again the smart, efficient way
Right.
to handle your finances. I mean, obviously, so you want to basically make sure that money. I don't want to get into investments or anything, but you want to make sure that you try to keep your cash on hand so that you can invest and earn interest, or which will allow you to gain more money, which will help your overall financial portfolio. Does that make sense?
Right. It could be any of that. It's just making sure you have the cash there available. A lot of times for the unexpected.
Right.
If you're going to buy a piece of equipment, or you're going to purchase something, it's coming, and you budget accordingly for whatever that payment may be. And as the equipment or the vehicle produces that additional income and goes in the account, it's going to be used to help service the debt to pay that loan off. And of course, as the business gets older, and maybe they've acquired a lot of the assets that they need, where they're not always having to lend, and something comes up, then you may want to think of using the cash to pay something off, so you don't go into debt anymore.
Sure. That makes sense. That makes complete sense. Very insightful, Lamont. Very, very insightful, sir.
Most
Are there any additional insights that you can potentially provide that for the homeowners the business owners that are watching? Anything you can think of that we didn't cover tonight?
Well, when I'm talking to business owners, my questions are always, and especially if they're new, and that's one we can talk about: new business owners and business owners that have been in the industry for a while, in their industry. For somebody new, I want to know that you've thought about having an accountant, finding a good accountant or bookkeeper, um, who helps you keep up with the tax laws and can make great recommendations about why you should or should not do something. And also to just inform you to, make sure you're paying your taxes on time, and show them all the different ways to do that, because there's nothing worse than having an unexpected fee come from out of somewhere, like an IRS bill of some type, because you missed paying your taxes. And then also to have an attorney. There are many times where you're going to run into some things where, having someone who's very well versed on legalities behind conducting business will be a great reference for you, or be there for you to help defend you. There are certain liabilities that come with running your own business, and you just need to be able to consult with them, have them maybe take a tour of your business and hear your business plan, so that they can offer advice that's important to know about, which helps you in making decisions on the things you do with external customers, or what I like to say are your internal customers, which are your employees.
Sure.
Last thing you want to do is get sued and just kind of be out there scrambling, trying to figure out what to do. So I always make the recommendation, please have a good CPA and a good attorney, either, handy or know how to get to them in case something, happens to the business.
Okay. Well, Lamont, I want to tell you, man, the information that you shared tonight, I think is extremely valuable. And I think it's going to really help a lot of new business owners and a lot of existing business owners, help them to run their business, like as we talked about, more efficiently.
Right.
That's what I'm going to go for tonight. You're extremely knowledgeable, sir. Very smart. Again, gave a lot of great insight. And man, I just, again, want to definitely thank you again for joining us on this show. And how can people get in contact with you?
Well, I work for First Citizens Bank. I'm located on Music Row, 16th Avenue South. And you can also go to LinkedIn. I try to tell as many people as possible who are in corporate America, starting their own business, you've got to be on LinkedIn. There are tons of people who will be your client. There are tons of people that can be a mentor. And it's just a great resource. There are different sessions that you can listen in on. And it's just part of the whole business owner repertoire that needs to be there. You need to be a member on LinkedIn. You need to be a member of the chamber. You need to be a member of any of the merchant associations that your industry may have. You need to be a part of a referral group. Make sure that you know that you're going out and you're talking to people that are doing the same thing you are. Having people around you that have the same goals that you do help to reinforce everything, and it makes you just a better business owner. You get to bounce ideas off of them. You can bring your problems out and hear what other people did that were faced with the same thing that you were faced with. So definitely get into those type groups as well.
Outstanding. Well, Lamont, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you.
All right.
Man.
You know it.
Thank you so much, man. And like I said,
all right.
You take care of yourself, man, and we'll talk.
We'll do.
We want to
talk soon.
We want to thank Lamont Bunch for joining us this evening on Practical Finances. Again, fantastic insight that he was able to give. Again, like I said, very insightful. We want to thank you all for joining us on the show this evening. Thank you for tuning in and listening. We're going to do this again next week. Next week, we're going to have mortgage loan officer Tiffany Wright. She's going to talk about home ownership, which should be a really informative conversation. So we definitely look forward to that show also. But again, this is Curtis. And until that time, with Practical Finance, until next week, you all be blessed. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening.